However, we're moving on into Big Ten country. I love Big Ten country. These are my games. Last week, I kind of had a pseudo Big Ten ACC matchup where, I'm sorry, Brandon, but your Notre Dame Fighting Irish lost to the Michigan State Spartans. I mean, it was bound to happen. I don't know why you picked Notre Dame last week. Was it a homer thing? Did you pick them just because you're a fan?
No, I thought they had a legitimate chance. We really hadn't seen a whole lot from Michigan State. I think they had only played who'd they play? Furman. I don't think that they even played well against Furman.
28-13 was that score.
Yeah, they didn't play all that well. So Notre Dame, I think that they had had the test against Texas, and I think that this Notre Dame team is a team that really at the end of the day isn't that bad, but they need to figure it out defensively. But I thought they had a chance, and they came out and their defense is going to kill them. Their defense is going to kill them all year long if they keep going like this. They're going to have a lot more than just 2 losses on the season if that defense cannot get it together.
Well, and now Michigan State, they're the team we're going to focus on. They get to come back home, and now they have a top 25 matchup set up with the Wisconsin Badgers in East Lansing. And to me, this is an interesting game only because of the last game that the Badgers played. They kind of survived one. They kind of pulled a Georgia Bulldogs against Nicholls State. They kind of pulled a Clemson against Troy this year. They kind of pulled a Tennessee against Appalachian State, where we were looking at it and it was 17-13. We were watching this game a little bit before we recorded the fast break. Myself, Mike Rankin, and Dave Oster. It was 17-13. I'm sitting there going, holy crap, upset alert. Who the hell is Georgia State? Oh, wait, that's the team that R.J. Hunter played for when he hit that 3 over, I think it was Baylor at the time. That's the only way I knew who Georgia State was. And it took a late touchdown, well, not so late, 7.5 minutes left to go up for the Badgers, and then a field goal to kind of ice the game. Well, ice the game at 23-17. If you're a Badger fan, should you be worried about that coming into this Michigan State game? Or are you confident in your team to say, that's behind us, we're moving forward?
I'd be a little worried. Because it's not like you're just going into a game against
Northwestern.
I was gonna say Nebraska, but Nebraska actually has played well. So
Purdue.
Yes, you're not going into a game against Purdue. Where it's probably not going to be too tough. They might score once, but you win 42-7.
Mm-hmm.
It's not one of those games. It's Michigan State, and you got to get it figured out fast. That's the thing, is that you got to figure it out fast, whatever it is that needs to be figured out. And whether it's just one of those games where maybe you just weren't fully there, or it could just be, guess what? Your game plan just didn't work as well as you thought it would. The other team was just actually a little bit better on this day than you thought they were going to be, and they played a little bit above the expectation. That could completely happen. But I think Michigan State is going in to this game on such a high. Now they're 2-0. They just beat a ranked and fairly good Notre Dame team, and they were able to stave them off 36-28. I think Michigan State right now has the momentum. Wisconsin is coming into this one off of a shaky week. I think Michigan State actually really has the upper hand in this one. And Tyler O'Connor, he's been playing well for these guys. He's been playing really well for these guys. Over 240 yards and a couple of touchdowns, an interception this past weekend. Mm-hmm. That's pretty good. He's putting his guys in a spot to win, and that's what they did.
To me, I look at Wisconsin a little bit here, and this game is so important because this game starts I'm looking at their schedule, I'd almost call it a death gambit. I mean, they've got this game against Michigan State, then they go to the Big House, then they're playing Ohio State at home, then they've got Iowa on the road, and then they come back to play a Nebraska team that just beat Oregon, and they look like in Coach Riley's second year that they're taking a second step to being a legitimate Big 12 team again. I don't know. This Wisconsin team, like, I worry that if they survive this game, they won't be. I don't think Wisconsin can survive all, 1, 2, 3, 4, all 5 of these games. They're going to lose at least 2 of them, maybe even 3 of them, maybe even those first 3, because, I mean, in Iowa, if North Dakota State could go in there and win, you can go in there and win, right? I mean, you could make that assumption, but just take those first 3. In East Lansing this week, in the Big House next game, and then home against Ohio State. Badger fans are probably giving me the finger right now because I'm writing you guys off, but this is a tough, like, I'm not even a Badger fan. I'm worried about these 5 games.
Well, I think the thing with Wisconsin, for me at least, they're 3-0, but I haven't figured this team out yet, is they play week 1, and they play against LSU, and they play them tough, and they win by 2.
Then they blow out the Zips.
But hold on, is that they beat an LSU team that
struggled.
Isn't all that great this year, I don't think. I don't think LSU is all that great this season. So you beat an LSU team, still a ranked LSU team,
well,
and then this
can I say one thing about that LSU game?
Yeah.
They play an LSU team, however, your quarterback Houston throws 0 touchdowns, 2 picks. A very Trevor Siemian-like performance, if I'm going to relate it to the NFL. Okay, that's what I wanted to say. Go ahead.
And then this past week against Georgia State, a Georgia State team that I don't think is all that great, you struggle against them. So I think that now you're going to go up against a Michigan State team that you know is good, that you've seen them, now in a game against Notre Dame where, yeah, they're going to hang with a good team and they're going to beat a good team. And Notre Dame is a good team.
Well,
struggling, but a good team. But I think that for Wisconsin, this game is where I'm going to really kind of find out and figure out how good is Wisconsin.
Well, and it's not just that. I mentioned what Bart Houston did against LSU where, yeah, they won, but he threw 0 touchdowns and 2 picks. In this Georgia State game this past week, he got himself pulled from the game. And the backup had to come in.
Hornibrook.
So right now you're sitting here going, like, if you're a Badger fan, you may be sitting, who's our quarterback for this game? That's not good coming into a game where a defense just went up against, to me, he's the number 1 pick in the draft, Deshaun Kaiser. I mean, anything can happen from now until the end of the season, but they went up against the best quarterback in college football. Well, second best, Lamar Jackson. He's the best in college football. But they went up against the top 5 quarterback in college football and got the W. Now they're going to play a team that doesn't really know who they're going to start, and they're having some questions and a little, not even mid-season competition, a early season competition, which those are the worst competitions. That means you won the preseason competition or the spring competition, and you suck so bad that you reopened the door. You reopened it. So to me, in this one, I think that this might be playing my hand and giving it away. I think this is going to be a blowout. I think Michigan State's got this game in the bag. In the bag. No contest.
Wow.
No contest.
Well, I'm going to wait until all the fans
they can see in the picks video
later in the picks video. Yes, I'm not going to give mine away.
I'll give it away.
But I do think that this is going to be the first test for Wisconsin because guess what? These last couple of games, outside of the LSU game, they did play really well. Wisconsin did play well, but then again, how good is that LSU team? I think that this is the first true test against a good team for Wisconsin. I'm interested to see how they handle it.
What would you say is, for Michigan State, we know what their keys are going to be. It's going to be the play from O'Connor and then that defense kind of making life havoc for whatever quarterback the Badgers kind of throw out there. For the Badgers, if you had to give me one key to the game for them to achieve victory, what would it be?
Don't turn the ball over. I think that's huge for them, because I think the more opportunities and the more chances that you give to Michigan State to be able to drive down the field and score, the worse off you're going to be, obviously. So I think for Wisconsin, it is take care of the football, don't turn it over, and don't give them a reason to be able to score when, you should be driving down the field and putting up points. Take care of the football. For me, that's Wisconsin's number one thing.
Now, before we move on, I want you guys to let us know down below what you got for this game. I don't think this is a contest. I think that, like we said, Wisconsin didn't play, like LSU was ranked, but were they really a good team? No, they benched Brandon Harris, who we mentioned earlier in the podcast. I don't think they get past it. I think this is going to be the first of a few losses in this stretch of 5 that they have. They're not going to go 0-5 because they're going to win some of them, but they may go. Don't be surprised if they go 1-4, 2-3 in these next 5, because I don't see them beating Michigan State, Michigan, or Ohio State. But I'd love to hear what you guys have to say. Let us know down below in the comment section.